Man to man, combat hand to hand, hands locked, ready for the last stand, elbow drops, kicks fade bang. If I connect you, levitate, better settle mate, lights out, knocked out by the heavyweight.
Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with a man from Aotearoa, Auckland, New Zealand, from CKB, a guy that takes his Maori ancestry into each fight. And he recently took Cody Garbrandt's manner and his subscribers. Kia ora, Kai Kara France. How are you, bro?
Sure, bro. No, I'm really good. Thanks for having me. It's been, I guess, a long time coming.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time since you've been over this part of the world in Macau, China, and Hong Kong, China.
Yeah.
That's part of your travels, man. You've had it's been a long road since then. That was like around 10 years ago that you were fighting this part of the world, and you've grown so much, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely come a long way since we first met. You know, just a young 18-year-old. I think the same day as my birthday, or the same week as my birthday, when I first went to Macau or to Hong Kong, my coach at the time, Aaron, said, "Hey, bro, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just about to cut my birthday cake." And he's like, "Put it down. I got you a fight. You're heading to Hong Kong this weekend." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, yeah, this is your first international fight. So pretty surreal experience, especially me, first time, you know, traveling overseas by myself, well, with a team, but, you know, not with my parents or family, to fight. And then like to see the Bruce Lee statue in Hong Kong, and then fighting in front of, you know, a big crowd, and just all new to me, but it was a great experience. Obviously, I didn't get the win, but for me, you know, that really just lit a fire underneath me, and made me like realize I really want to do this, like to be able to travel, meet new people, go to new places, and to fight. You know, this is what I've dreamed of. So that lit a massive fire underneath me.
That's it, man. That was back in 2012. And back around that time, give or take 1 or 2 years, a lot of the boys from New Zealand, Australia were coming over here to fight on the Legend FC show. I met Aaron Boys and Carl Weber back then for you guys. And that was how I ended up over there I think I was actually in your corner, but I was not doing anything, probably holding the ice or some shit.
Yeah.
during that fight, man. And you fought a guy called Augustin Delamino, he's actually a mate of mine now. He actually lives in Macau and works in Macau. He's a good guy. He's a good striker. He comes from a good striking family. And like you came from, was it like zero notice? I remember the guys telling me that was one of the big things. I mean, you dominated, and then maybe just too fatigued. And Augustin still had a little bit of gas in his tank to throw some of his hard punches. And it was finished, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was just a lot of new experiences, as well as taking the fight short notice. You know, I'm the complete underdog. No one knows who I am. So I've got nothing to lose. Just go out there and give it your all. So, yeah, a lot of learning curves that fight. I guess about reserving your gas tank and just staying calm under pressure, and a lot of things that I took away from that fight. You know, Delamino did well to capitalize on me getting tired, and then landing some hard shots. But you know, it's just the fight game. You know, you evolve, you get better, you live and you learn, and yeah. So it was a great promotion. You know, Legend FC had so many massive names from this side of the world a part of their promotion. You know, Rod McSwain was the poster boy pretty much for New Zealand mixed martial arts back then, and he was the title holder for Legend FC. So you know, so many big names have come from this promotion and gone on to not just UFC, but to do well in ONE FC. You know, Adrian Pang, massive name in Australia. Rob Lacita at the time was doing massive things. And I think at our gym at Strikeforce at the time, we had like every weight class, someone competing, you know, bantamweight, which was me. And then you had featherweight, which was Dan back then, lightweight, which was Rod. And he competed at welterweight as well. And then we had Gareth, who else? Pat Crawley. These
Sam
are a lot
Brown
of
was still with
names.
you guys, or Sam Brown was he with you guys, or was he...
Sam Brown was still there. Yeah, heavyweight, light heavyweight at the time. These guys are all big names when I first started. So you know, to be fighting alongside of them and traveling and you know, just learning the ropes from these guys. It was a great experience. Not too many of them are still competing. But yeah, it was a great platform for Australasia, you know, really put New Zealand and Australia into that international fight scene.
That's it, man. And Dan mentioned that he's got a couple of the guys, Rod McSwain and Gareth Ely, teaching at his gym now. So their journey continues. It's just not in the fighting scene, the active fighting scene, right? They're just helping guys and learning and teaching, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, these guys have a wealth of knowledge. Gareth's got his black belt, and he's more dedicated to teaching jiu-jitsu and you know, sharing that craft, which is awesome. Rod's more stand-up and boxing. He's just a great coach. I've done a few, I guess, like boxing camps with him. So I just teach, come in and show some technique. But, you know, the atmosphere that Rod creates is why people want to train with him. He's just such a great motivator, a good people person, and just a really nice guy. So it's great to have these guys, you know, at the start of my career, kind of leading me the way to go about the sport. And obviously Dan has been one of my mentors right from the start, and just kind of used him as a role model to see where I want to take the sport and how I'm going to get there. So yeah, he's been a great mentor for me, and it's awesome to be sharing the same gym and being in the UFC now together. So we've both come a long way.
That's it, man. And you mentioned about that first traveling over to Hong Kong. Now you've been so many places, bro. Obviously you fought in New Zealand, Hong Kong now, Malaysia, Indonesia, Taiwan, Philippines, Australia, Thailand for many years, China, Guam, Japan.
You've done your homework.
Dhabi, man. You've been everywhere. You're an international traveler, and that's a massive benefit of being a fighter, right? That you get to go around and do what you want to do, get to travel, learn, and meet a lot of cool people, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's just a perk of the job, and you got to enjoy that. And that's what I loved about the sport at such a young age. I got to travel so many places, meet amazing people, and get paid to do it. So at the time, you know, I wasn't making the greatest money, but enough to live, especially when I was living in Thailand. Cost of living there so cheap. And you could really, I guess, make your money last a lot longer when you based yourself out of Phuket. But yeah, I love fighting around Asia. You know, that was a great experience for me, not just as a fighter, but as a person. You know, I was a bit shy growing up, so really got me out of my comfort zone and got me, I guess, forced me to meet new people and make friends. And we all had a common interest, which is obviously mixed martial arts, or in Thailand, just to get better and just to get fit. So it was easy to make friends and easy to kind of network and all that. Being there at such a young age, I was there about 19. Lived there for about 4 years. Big change for me, not living at home with the comforts of home and all that. And it really made me think, it made me realize, do I really want to do this? Because you're not always going to be winning. You're not always going to be smooth sailing with your career. You're going to have family and friends saying, hey, maybe go back to uni, maybe get a normal job if it's not working out. And my family had kind of been tired of not giving me money, but like helping me out, you know, and they weren't seeing the results from it. So I just had to commit and stuck to it. And now, you know, looking back on it, I'm so glad that I did stick to it. And I guess lasted those rough times, because that builds character, that builds a lot of, I guess, you know, thick skin that you need in this game. There's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises, but if you're committed and you back yourself, and you really, I guess, give it your all, it can all work out. And yeah, so it was a great experience for me traveling around all these places. My favorite, I've got a lot of favorite places. Fighting in Indonesia in one of the provinces there was pretty surreal. We fought it was like an old rundown theme park. Yeah. And it was like in a marquee, like a big marquee outside. I was the last fight of 22 fights, and I was fighting the hometown guy, this tough Indonesian kid. And then I'm warming up about
fast one, right? That was the real fast one. Your warm up was longer than the fight, right?
Nah, this one was actually a bit tougher. Yeah, this one was a bit tougher. So I was there with Dan Hooker. He was cornering me, and so I got there about 11, 12, thinking, you know, I'm not fighting until about 5 or 6 because there's 22 fights. And then the governor of the province was like, no, we want to see you fight now. You have to get ready. And I just got there. So I was like, oh shit, I got to start warming up then. I chucked on some hand wraps, like chucked on the gloves. Dan threw a few punches at me, slipped them. And then he was like, sweet, you're ready. And I was like, oh, shit, you know, this is straight in the deep end. And you know, everyone was going for him. Like thousands of guys all around the cage, just ready to see blood and see their hometown guy, you know, take on me. And then I ended up breaking his nose first punch, through an uppercut, and then I actually broke my knuckle on that first punch as well. And then his nose was bleeding, all busted up. I couldn't really throw that right hand anymore, but I just had to adapt. I ended up getting the win, but it was hard because he was just tough, didn't want to go down, and just things like that, you know. Like me and Dan looking at each other like, man, where the hell are we? But obviously they love fighting, so yeah, we were pretty privileged to just be there. But that's just one of many things that I've done in Asia, you know, fighting on a cruise ship as well, another amazing experience. First cruise ship fight ever from Malaysia to Phuket, and then the fights were docked on the boat in Phuket. So a lot of my teammates at Tiger Muay Thai got to come over and come on the boat and watch. That fight was only 12 seconds against a Filipino. So yeah, great experience. You know, who can say they fought on a cruise ship? And then we got to party on the boat for like 2 days after. So yeah, pretty cool.
I heard you mention about that one. You said there were a lot of Filipinos working on the ship, and the guy was a Filipino, right? So they had a little bit of support, and unfortunately, they didn't get their hometown guy to win.
I don't. But yeah.
No, man, it's an incredible journey. Like when you just think of like your personal journey, firstly, like you mentioned that you've, you know, you grew up with a bit of bullying, etc., being a small guy and then a shy person as well. And now you've come so far. And a large part of that obviously is through your journey through martial arts, but also your journey in traveling everywhere. It's a great thing. And like people don't always realize, which Dan mentioned the other day, and you mentioned in some of your interviews, it's not always, you know, it's not always titles and wins and everything in the journey. It's a very difficult journey. There's struggles being a fighter, man. Can you talk about any of those struggles at all that you've felt? I mean, you mentioned before in Thailand, you know, not a lot of money, kind of relying on your parents and that stuff a bit. What other sort of struggles have you dealt with over your career?
Yeah, I guess, you know, that was a big one. Dropping out of high school, dropping out of university, that was a big, I guess, crossroad for me. I realized academic wasn't really for me. You know, I was in uni, but my head wasn't in the books. I just wanted to train and get better. And then, like all my family have gone to university. My brother and my dad are both lawyers. You know, my older brother's a sports journalist. So just everyone's always done that. So for me to like kind of go against it and just be like, nah, I'm just going to commit to fighting. I just got a scholarship. There's a scholarship tryouts over in Thailand. You know, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. So I just told them, you know, I just want to, you know, test my skills and see how far I can take it. So they were 100% supported me, you know, just wanted to see me chase my passion. And I'm so thankful that they, you know, I had their blessing to kind of do that. So yeah, one-way ticket kind of thing, just went over there on a limb and didn't know anyone. But yeah, just knew that this is what I wanted to do. And everyone in the gym at the time knew that. At Tiger, they just said, he's a young kid, you know, he's raw, but he's got the right attitude, just willing to learn, willing to, I guess, just get stuck in and all in pretty much. So yeah, at one point in my career, coming off a 3-fight lose streak, like fighting good guys, could have done a few things differently that would have changed that fight. But yeah, that was a big learning curve for me. That's when I dropped down to flyweight. So I was fighting at bantamweight, fighting good guys and doing quite well, but I was always a little bit too small for that weight class. I just felt like I was too small. So then dropped down to flyweight, and then made my debut like 4 months after. So I just trained as hard as I could. Like I said before, family was saying, hey, maybe come back home after this 3-fight lose streak. They're like, come back home, maybe you know, do something different. This isn't working out. So I said, nah, I got myself into this. I'm just going to commit and then not give it a one last shot, but just commit and just do as much as I can. So that's when I dropped down to flyweight. And then I fought in Taiwan on Pro FC. It was a promotion. And then first punch pretty much knocked him out, 9-second knockout. So, and then 2 weeks later, fought on that cruise ship, 12-second knockout. And like in the space of a year, I picked up 5 first-round knockouts, all at flyweight. So just changed that whole my whole situation. Now everyone was back on the hype train. Family of 100% supporting me, and then that's when I got picked up for the Ultimate Fighter. And then did well on Ultimate Fighter, only knockout on that season.
Yep.
You know, great experience
Mitchell,
living in. Yeah, Terrence Mitchell was the guy. Big guy from Alaska. You know, he was 5'11".
Yep.
And I'm only 5'4", 5'5". So big difference. But I knew what I was bringing to the table. I'd just done pretty much a 4-year fight camp in Thailand and fighting just anywhere and everywhere in Asia. So I didn't really care who they were going to put in front of me for my first fight on that Ultimate Fighter House. I was just like, I'm here to show the world what I've got. And Dana White just came in to the locker room and just said, good luck, boys. So like, what more motivation do you need? It's like a job interview where you get to show why you should get the job, kind of thing. So yeah, got the first only knockout of that season, 30-second knockout. And it's just satisfying, you know, to show the guy that, yeah, you had this reach, but it doesn't matter. I've always been the shorter fighter.
Yeah.
And found the range, and then found the shot. So
especially when he's sticking his arm in your face in that face-off fight, sticking your arm out there, like that's got to G you up a bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm not really the one to, I guess, start anything at a weigh-in or anything, but like that really kind of like was degrading, having someone stick their hand in their face and me trying to like just parry it down so he could like at least get closer to get the square off, but he didn't want to. So I was like, okay, it's kind of personal now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, just a question I have, man. Like you've talking to Dan the other day, he said like he decided pretty early on that a normal working life wasn't for him. You know, he tried a few shifts or something, just hated it, and said, I'm going to be a fighter. This is what I am. Even if I have to travel around and live in gyms and whatever, I'm going to be a fighter. So whether or not he made the money he's making now or had the success he had, that was what he was going to do. You've had these bumps and that. It sounds like you're a little bit more, troubled by it with parents and everything. Do you think that you would have still continued on the path if you hadn't been successful in those few turning points?
Yeah, like I've realized now being a father, like how much martial arts has kind of shaped me as a man, and how you need this. Like in these lockdowns, like I miss training so much in the gym, like that atmosphere, being around all the guys, just being in the gym. This is my life, so I can't imagine it without it, you know. So even after fighting in the UFC or professionally, training is always going to be a part of it. So I could always see myself doing this, but yeah, I got so much, I guess, growth from fighting, just to get in the ring. You know, so many mental hurdles you got to get through just to be able to get to that ring and then showcase your skills and all that hard work you're putting in the gym and in training. And that's what I loved about it, being, you know, shy and kind of timid when I was younger, and being growing up in team sports, playing soccer. You know, at one point that's what my sport was. I played since I was 4 to 18. Went to high school on a kind of soccer scholarship. Was on all the top football soccer academies. But after high school, kind of just wanted to do a sport on my own. I didn't want to be behind a team or rely on anyone else. Even though, you know, fighting, you do need a team to train. Once you're in the ring, it's just all on you. So that's kind of what I loved about it. It's like if you put in the work and you do the training, you can't hide when you get in that ring. So
yeah, man.
For me, you know, I couldn't see myself doing a desk job, or I'm not that. I've got to be doing something, got to be moving. At one point, I was working at the zoo, at the cafe at the zoo. So I wasn't, looking after animals, but yeah, I couldn't go back. I left a few times, but then one time I needed money, so I had to go back the next week. I'm like, so bro, can I get my job back? But yeah, it's just stuff you had to do when you're younger, you know, like it definitely makes you appreciate where you come from when I don't have to do that now. You know, I see so many guys that my teammates working 2 jobs or working a job and training, pretty hard, and they have kids as well. So, you know, I don't know how they do it, working on the floor or as a tradie and then coming to training and then going home and looking after kids. You know, there's only so much hours and day time in the day. So, full respect to people that can do both.
Yeah, and not everyone can be as successful as that either. Like, you know, you can be a fighter, and obviously the majority can't be in the top 10 in the UFC. That's just the way it is. So a lot of people that are, you know, pushing day to day to fight and work and everything, showing that sort of passion, same sort of passion, but they might not have the same degree of success, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me so grateful for being able to do what I do and not have to, I can just solely focus on fighting and getting better and upskilling, and that's what keeps me so motivated and just hungry. I've always been a guy that stays in the gym all year round, and now where I'm at in my career, that's, I guess, the difference is you just stay ready, stay upskilling, because you always got to evolve. If you don't evolve, you kind of get left behind. So you just got to stay in it, and then once you retire, then you can sit back and enjoy your work.
Yeah, man, and that's the biggest part of it. Is what you just talked about, is staying in it, man. The persistence is a common theme that's popping through all these interviews I'm doing, man. Successful people in MMA and other martial arts, it's because of their persistence, man. People that keep going, don't stop because they hit the hurdle, and they have the passion to just keep driving. It's not necessarily the guy that's the most athletic. It's the guy that kept going. You have to have some certain athletic aptitude, obviously, but you just keep going. One example, the key example that comes to mind every time I talk to someone is Ray Sefo talking to Lolo Hemuli. He said Ray came in. Ray was the guy that was first in, last out, straight after a fight, came back to training, and that's how he achieved his success. He had a certain amount of athletic skills and whatever, but the main thing was his persistence. And it seems to be like that with all you guys, right? That to get to the top is your persistence, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Another example would be, I guess, Israel. If anyone wanted to follow his footsteps and do what he does, only he could do this. He's so gifted with his natural ability, his arm, his reach, his height, he can dance, so that transfers into fighting. So many things that work well for Izzy. I guess for me and Dan, we've both had to be just workhorses, be just grinders in the gym, because we're not being given all these attributes. It's just different journeys that we've been on to get to where we are in our careers.
I'll tell you what, bro, you have a fucking aptitude that none of the other guys have. I'm watching your fights, man, and there's something about, I don't know, the dissipation of power you have when you punch people, and it's like a blunt force trauma or something, man. It's different. It's different. Like the other guys get knockouts and that, but the way you get the knockout is a whole different thing. You can really see when you hit someone, that force dissipate, the way your hand hits and connects and disconnects from it. It's just it's different than the other guys. Even the guys in your gym that get a lot of knockouts, there's something special about your force and power distribution, man. I love it. I love seeing those last couple of mad KOs, man. Garbrandt, Ontarin, man, amazing. Both of those are exactly what I'm talking about. If you slow it down and watch the dissipation of power, it's just unusual, man. You're a bit of a superpower there.
Yeah, no, it's just a bit of obviously something that we've worked on a lot. And then now I'm just so much more confident where I'm at now. I know I've got knockout power, but I've always been taught, don't get complacent with it. Set it up with the right way, and that's when it's going to be executed the best, not when you're just trying to hunt for it. That's when the knockout actually doesn't happen. It's when you set it up the right way, have it, there's no fat on it, which means like when you throw it, it's going straight to the target. There's no delay, there's no telegraphing. It's just well executed. But it's there's so many levels to fighting, and that's what I love about city kickboxing. Is when I was training in Thailand, obviously being in the motherland of Muay Thai and being their national sport, the attention to detail is so good in Muay Thai, but for MMA it's completely different. There's different ranges, different timings, different weapons, and the gloves are so much smaller. So coming back to city kickboxing, there's no like limit of how much knowledge you can get. So many guys in our gym that so many older guys that have so much experience and so much knowledge. I just love it. It's like an encyclopedia of fighting, and it's never ending. There's always something you can perfect. There's always something that you can get better at. And I know I've got one of the best right hands, not just in the gym but in the UFC. because when I land, it always connects, and I don't telegraph it. And yeah, it's just something that we've worked on so much, but obviously trying to sharpen the other things as well. So then they're all going to be dangerous, not just the right hand. So for this fight, for my next fight coming up, that's something that we've been working on. Obviously, my opponent's going to be wary of where the dangers are, but he's going to have to worry about the other weapons as well. So I'm excited.
Mr. Askarov, right? How much of a lazy name is that, man? What are you going to call your kid? Let's just call him the same as his last name, Askarov. Yeah. There'll be laziness in the Askarov family, bro.
Sounds like it, eh?
A bit of a strange name, but yeah, let's hope you can plant him as well, bro. Looking forward to that one. Hey, I wanted to touch on two other things, man. Your future. You mentioned in a few interviews about that you had some plans for the future. You mentioned then about continuing martial arts into the future. I heard you mention once in an interview about thinking about maybe an analyst would be suitable for you. A lot of people, you also mentioned about doing something with youth, right? You there, mate? You also mentioned something about doing something with youth, etc. What are the feelings for you? Have you actually got something in place? Because I heard you're kind of hinting at the fact that you're kind of building something, right?
Yeah, I guess just life after fighting, just because you retire doesn't mean you just stop. You always got to be progressing in life, and being a father now, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. And if that means to be the best father at home, that's going to transfer to being the best fighter in the ring. So always just trying to upskill and get better. I do a TV show, a sports TV show for Multi TV. So, learning how to talk in front of a camera is such a skill in itself, and reading off a teleprompter and just doing all of that stuff. So when I finish and want to kind of hang up the gloves and not have to fight just for a paycheck kind of thing, you can. The transition's not too hard. So, working for a TV show as well as guest speaking, I do a lot of like motivational speaking, especially of kids and especially Māori and PI children, just trying to, I guess, connect to, people that are going to relate to me, relate to my story, where I've come from, and use my story as, I guess, inspiration to turn your failures into success. Not being, just facing adversity, overcoming it, and just moving forward. So yeah, I do a bit of guest speaking like that, as well as motivational speaking for businesses. Just go in and give them a different perspective than what they're used to, from an athlete's perspective, from the fight game perspective, and just try to get more, try to uplift them and get them to where they want to be. And then obviously doing a bit of commentary now for King of the Ring, which is pretty awesome, something that's all new to me, but just getting better with it every time I do it, just more confident, and just over time, just trying to fine tune that. So, later on, if the UFC ever wanted to bring me on as an analyst or commentator, I've already got that resume and been able to already do it. Yep. So something just to progress and add to my afterlife of fighting.
No, it's awesome,
and
man.
Then,
you can share the knowledge.
So many things.
That's good, man. And it's good like that. You talk about sharing knowledge with people, whether it is just a public speaking gig, you're sharing knowledge, and that kind of falls back to everything, right? Like the way you guys got where you are is the people sharing knowledge from back in Philip Lamb's days, through to Loa Hamuli, through to Ray Sefo, through to Eugene, through to you guys, through Dougie, all these guys. And then you guys are doing the same, it's endless, right? Your team can keep developing. New Zealand can keep developing. Your Maori kids that you're dealing with can keep developing through you, learning through you, whether it's directly about fighting or about challenging yourself and learning. So that's cool, man. Yeah,
definitely. That's something that's been always close to my heart. Trying to give back and especially help out kids on their journey. It doesn't have to be fighting; it could be anything. But just finding their passion and just letting them, commit and just chase it. I always tell my cousins who come from Hawke's Bay and smaller towns, and if they've got a dream, just chase it. And I've always just been, living proof of it, and they've always kind of seen me as like inspiration to just push. And now I've got cousins that are pro skateboarders and professional basketballers, and they will never set on the normal small town lifestyle, which is awesome if that's what you want to do, but if that's not for them, there's never been a limit. And for me, the inspiration I get is obviously having a family now and having a son, and having to provide for them, but also having a teammate like Israel. He's always shown that the world's never too big, and there's never a limit of how far you can take the sport and how far you can push it. Like, man, he's the poster boy of the UFC, and that motivates me, because I know that's where I want to be. I want that kind of just to be where he's at, and all of that. That's all you need to get to the gym and just put everything into it. I'm in the gym 3-4 times a day, 7 days a week, in the lead up to a fight, 10-week fight camp. So I know when I get on that flight on fight week, there's no stone left unturned. There's no woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's game time now. It's time to go out there and have fun. So awesome. That's the kind of mentality you got to have when you want to be the champion. It's the championship mindset that doesn't happen overnight. You got to believe you're champ before you become the champ, and that's what I've learned from Izzy. That self-belief and that confidence that comes with it. That's not something that you've learned. You've just got to know. And when you know and you get in there and you just feel like Superman, no one can touch you, and that's the kind of mindset you got to have. So when I fought Cody Garbrandt my last fight, that's the kind of mindset I was walking into that cage, just like, I don't care who they put in front of me tonight. It doesn't matter. Like, this is my night. I'm going to shock the world. And I know what I just come from, 10 weeks of a grueling camp, being pushed to the absolute limits. And, I didn't buckle once. So what's one guy going to do? It was just all different. I was a lot more calmer than usual. And you just start to see that maturity now when I fight. Just setups, setting everything up the right way. And then when I find the shot, still stay calm, and the finish will come. Don't rush it.
Yeah, man. And touching on what you just said about, stepping into the ring and feeling very confident, and another thing that you mentioned about, your Maori heritage, it sounds like it's of late, you've really started to embrace that when you get in the ring, like channeling your Tupana ancestors and Maori heritage and warrior ancestry to, take it into the fight with you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I guess working with my sports psychologist, David Neath, it's just something that we've worked on, not just recently, but, something that I've always grown up around. I know that, like, I've always had this fire in me to get in there and just get into battle. And like my ancestors would have done, hundreds of years ago, I tap into that kind of mindset. And then on fight week, it's all mental warfare. You got to be calm and calculated, but when it's go time, there's no doubting yourself. It's just get in there and get the job done. So yeah, I really do tap into that. I feel all that support and love from New Zealand when I fight, and it's just such a privilege for me, to do this on a world stage, and the reactions I get from everyone back home when you do get the win and do get a knockout, that stays with them for the rest of their life. They know the way they felt when they saw you fight, and it's just amazing to be able to put a smile on people's faces back home, and that are, I guess, doing rough and all these lockdowns and restrictions. And I just love being able to that my work does that to people, and is uplifting and brings some positive to their life. So it's massive for me.
It's been great to see, man. Like, it's been great to see you guys repping the Maori culture, man, through your whole team, all of you guys, especially you and Shane Young with your Pukana and some of the other media coverage of you guys at the marae and that, doing some ceremonies. This is all really good for your culture, man. Hey, actually, Shane Young, now that you just sort of made me remember, Shane did this Pukana for me before. Let me show you. You got to see. I'll post it later on the actual thing.
Oh, man.
Hey, do you reckon you could one up him, bro? You reckon you could give us a Pukana on the camera now, just so I can collect a couple of you guys doing it? What do you think?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here, bro.
Putting you on the spot, bro. This is part of this development of public speaking and all that. Putting you on the spot, bro. What do you reckon?
I got to channel it like I'm looking at Cody Garbrandt.
I know, I understand.
Nah, like I'm looking at Cody Garbrandt, and then he's laughing, trying to underestimate me pretty much. So that's actually the reason why I did that. I wasn't planning on doing it, but at the time he yeah, he just wasn't taking me serious. So I was like, oh, I'm going to give him a taste of what's to come tomorrow night. So that's why I just walked up to him straight away, didn't hesitate, and I just let him feel my presence. So yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Sick, bro. Super kind of. So I got to get a collection of you guys with these ones, man. It's cool. All right, bro. I just had a couple of more questions for you. Just a couple of just simple kind of goofy questions to finish up with. Type 2 Ivasa said you like looking fresh, bro. You can sort of see it, you like your style, nice hats and shoes and all that. How many pairs of shoes you have, bro? And what's your favorite?
Shit. I got a few pairs now.
Approximate.
But the thing is, if I get a pair, I got to get the family a pair because you can't come home just with one. So that's how you can keep getting more. If you keep the wife happy, then we're good. So I don't really have too many. I guess 10 or 12.
Yeah, that's not too bad, bro.
Yeah, I try to get the ones that retain their value. So like obviously there's levels to sneakers, and some are more expensive, some have more hype, and I guess limited. So that's what makes the price go up.
Yeah.
So yeah, my favorite to wear at the moment, just because it's so hot, is probably just Yeezy slides, just because it's comfy.
Yeah.
But I got a few in there that for my next weigh-in or like media day, I'll bring them out. So be on the lookout for that. I won't say what it is yet.
Cool. And hey, bro, on the same sort of note, a little bit up the price chain, watches and that, but I'm pretty sure I saw you wearing a nice watch one day. Are you into the watches as well?
I've kind of gone off watches just because the ones I want to get are so expensive. But when I win the belt, I'll get myself a nice watch. Maybe one like Izzy, Rolex.
What's your grail? What's your grail
Rolex,
watch?
bro?
Rolex, yeah.
I can't remember the one that it's a gold one that it's a gold Rolex. I can't remember the name of it, but
and you got to get some connection for that. Try and get Easy or these guys look up a connection and get into it, because that's the main thing, bro. The market price of Rolexes is crazy, but the retail price is still expensive, but not as bad. Bro. If I know, like I said, you've already got a superpower, but if you could take any superpower into the ring, what would it be and why?
Superpower, I guess to fly. Then you could.
That'd be pretty.
Then you'll never have to come down, and then you could just, you'll never be touched, pretty much.
Easy. Last fight, bro. It's something I've asked a couple of the guys. Just cracks me up. The funny question. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Francis Ngannou's or 1 10-foot tall size Francis Ngannou?
I guess 100 duck-size Francis Ngannou's.
That's it. Everyone picks it. I think actually, Blood Diamond said he'd rather fight the big one, just get over and done with quickly. You reckon there's too many? 100. You reckon 100's too many? Anyway, all right, bro. So we've come to the end of the interview. I really wish you the best for your upcoming fight, and of course in the future, man. It's been great to talk to you. I've been following you for a long time. In fact, there wouldn't be the guys you talk to. Remember this, man. Who has a Kai French Don't Blink shirt, a son called Kai, and has been following you for 10 years? Probably none of them, bro. So I hope we can talk again sometime in the future, bro. I'll continue following you, supporting you, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate all your guys in your team, and it's great to talk to you, bro.
Oh, thank you, bro. Before you leave, here's a little memory lane of my career so far, the UFC.
Yeah.
These are all the posters that I fought on, all the cards. So It's cool little memorabilia to kind of keep in the memory bank, which is cool. Thanks for
get that motivation.
Thanks for having me on, bro. It's awesome to have you a part of the sport. Getting the best stories and reconnecting. You've been there right from the start of a lot of the boys' career. So it's awesome to have you a part of the journey now, and we can catch up real soon.
Awesome, bro. All right, thanks, man, and have a great day.
Appreciate it, bro. Talk soon.